Some extremely important results here in match week 9 of the English Premier League, and I, Eric Avasar, am here to help make sense of it all for you. So on Saturday, there were actually three scoreless draws, and the one that probably had the least impact in terms of the table in the grand scheme of things was Watford and Swansea City playing to a scoreless draw. The two more interesting draws, considering they were much more unexpected, were Tottenham Hotspur, unable to score against AFC Bournemouth. Of course, Bournemouth had that 6-goal romp over Hull City recently, so a positive point for Eddie Howe's man. But, the Spurs missed a chance to go to the top of the table, as did Arsenal. They could not manage to beat newly promoted Middlesbrough at home. So I think from the Gooners' point of view, it's an even more disappointing result when you consider that situation. They really needed Petr Cech to rescue them from some serious danger in the first half, so he's just cementing what's already known, that he is one of the top keepers in the Premier League. A better term would be affirming. He cemented it a long time ago. Burnley versus Everton, a little bit of an upset here. Burnley picked up a 2-1 win. Martin Stecklenburg was the hero last week for his 2 penalty kick saves. This weekend he is the GOAT for the mistakes he made. So really, Burnley picking up a crucial 3 points. Sam Vokes and Scott Arfield, the goal scorers. I don't know if you saw Everton's goal, but it was quite the funny sight because Yannick Bolasie pretty much pushed Romelu Lukaku off the ball as he was dribbling it and made no mistake with the finish. Had he missed it, I'm sure he would have gotten more than an earful from big Romelu Lukaku. So, that was only turned out to be a consolation goal. Again, big 3 points for Burnley. In terms of the top player of the weekend, I would have to give that to Xherdan Shaqiri. He scored a screamer in the 26th minute for the Potters to put them up 1-0 against Hull City, and then he bagged his brace as he scored a second goal in the 2-0 win. So really, Shaqiri, one of the top players in the Premier League, tends to fly under the radar because he just plays for Stoke City. In terms of teams that had Champions League football and did a little bit better than Arsenal in London, Leicester City this time around, taking care of business, of course. Claudio Ranieri made no secret of the fact that he was very frustrated with his club's highly differing performance outputs in the Champions League versus the Premier League. They looked like they were playing in the Champions League, as they had 3 beautiful goals. Ahmed Musa scoring his first goal for the club, beautiful sight to see. And Shinji Okazaki is known for his work rate and his effort, not necessarily for bagging the goals, but he played up top with Islam Slimani, and Okazaki scored in the 63rd minute. Christian Fuchs scored for the first time for Leicester since he arrived from Schalke. Believe it or not, he did not score during the Dream title run last year. A brilliant volley from outside the box. Certainly one of the top goals on the weekend, one that I'm sure he'll always remember too. Yohan Cabaye had a nice, easy little finish in the 85th minute for a consolation goal. So, big loss for Crystal Palace, especially, as they will be having a tough fixture in the following weekend against Liverpool, although I'm sure Christian Benteke is licking his chops at that one. Other Saturday results included West Ham United beating an even more hapless Sunderland side, if that's even possible at this point, 1-0. Winston Reid rescuing the Hammers from an embarrassing draw, scoring at the death in stoppage time, a beautiful goal, striking it through just a massive cluster of traffic. Bedlam for West Ham United when they won that game. They needed those 3 points. Meanwhile, Sunderland even more firmly entrenched at the bottom of the table. A true crisis David Moyes has on his hands at the Stadium of Light. Last game of Saturday's action was Liverpool hosting West Bromwich Albion at Anfield. And, it was a bit of a rough start for the Reds. Did not really look so good early on. However, once they got their rhythm going, uh, it was heavy metal football, what you've come to expect from Jurgen Klopp's boys. And, that first goal from Sadio Mane was off of an absolutely beautiful cross from Roberto Firmino. Philippe Coutinho humiliated a pair of West Ham defenders with just a fake left-footed shot and gave Ben Foster no chance when he scored his second goal. So in the second half, Liverpool created just as many chances, but did not finish them like they did in the first. And of course, the first shot on target West Brom had ended up being a goal from Gareth McCauley. However, the Reds were able to hold on for the 2-1 win and a crucial 3 points. So Sunday's action, only 2 games in play. Maybe it's not a major surprise anymore, but Manchester City only played to a draw against Southampton. And, that's certainly not what they were looking for. That is now the 5th game in a row, believe it or not, that Manchester City have failed to win after their white-hot start to the season. Kelechi Iheanacho scored in the 55th minute. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Iheanacho is becoming an indispensable asset to Manchester City, one of the brightest young talents in all of world football. But, it wasn't enough in that one. That was the equalizer, actually. Nathaniel Redmond for the Saints has turned out to be a quality signing so far. He got it done for the Saints, and, that really making them forget about Graziano Pella. And the marquee matchup of the weekend had to be Manchester United traveling to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea. And what a disaster it was for Jose Mourinho at his old stomping grounds. I mean, it's so hard to take Mourinho seriously when he benches guys like Anthony Martial and Juan Mata, meanwhile playing trash like Marouane Fellaini. Yes, they're different positions, but it's also indicative of the negative style of play Mourinho brings. The parking the bus moniker is certainly fitting, although when you concede in the first 30 seconds, you've got to take the parking brake off the bus and get ready to move. Mourinho did not come ready to play, or better yet, he did not come prepared for the disaster that occurred at Stamford Bridge. So really, it was a goal fest. Even N'Golo Kante got on the score sheet. That's how you know it was bad. Eden Hazard scored a beautiful goal. Gary Cahill even looked like a top-class defender, putting his name on the score sheet. And Pedro scored off of a great ball from Marcos Alonso that caught the Man United defense sleeping. Christopher Smalling, their captain in this match, is a huge liability. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, if he's not careful, will turn into a huge liability. It's now 5 straight games that the Swede has failed to score. So let's take a look at this incredibly crowded Premier League table. Manchester City are on top with 20 points, although they're only on top because of goal differential. Arsenal and Liverpool both have 20 points as well. However, Man City has a positive 11 goal differential, Arsenal 10, and Liverpool 9. So clearly, goal differential has the potential to make a massive difference in how teams fare this year, when you also consider that Chelsea and Tottenham both have 19 points as well. 1 point dividing teams 1 through 5. Have not seen that in quite some time. Everton are in that next tier. Don't consider them title contenders, however. Ronald Koeman's done a great job in charge at this up to this point. They have 15 points. Manchester United with a paltry 14 points when you consider that Mourinho has 14 points at a time where Van Gaal had 19. So looking further down, Southampton 13, Watford 12, as is AFC Bournemouth. That's the top half of the table. Looking further down, Crystal Palace is 11th with 11. Leicester City 11, but they have a negative 4 goal differential. The Foxes will want to work on that. West Bromwich Albion 10 points. Burnley, West Ham United, all 10 points. As we look closer towards the drop zone, Stoke City have 9 points. Middlesbrough have 7. And Hull City currently sit in the relegation zone on goal difference. They are at a negative 14 goal differential, easily the worst in the league. We'll certainly need to fix that. Swansea City are 19th with 5 points, and Sunderland currently have 2. So with that, I bid you farewell, and until next time, keep enjoying the English Premier League.